Emily Parker was a quiet girl, the kind who preferred to stay out of the spotlight and blend into the background at Willowbrook High. With her straight brown hair always tucked behind one ear and her oversized sweater sleeves covering her hands, Emily often went unnoticed. She wasn't shy exactly, she just chose her words carefully and spoke only when she had to. One chilly October morning, during history class, the teacher, Mr. Collins, announced a surprise quiz. When Jake, one of the class troublemakers, was caught cheating, Mr. Collins blamed another student, Sarah, without proof. Emily saw it happen and knew Sarah was innocent. Heart-pounding, Emily raised her hand and said, "Sir, I saw Jake cheating. Sarah didn't do anything wrong." Mr. Collins' eyes narrowed. "Enough, Emily. You're disrupting the class." But Emily persisted. That afternoon, she was called to the principal's office where Mr. Hoddle Thompson decided to punish her by sending her to the school basement for an hour, a place students dreaded, a dark, cold room beneath the school where no one went unless forced. The basement door creaked open, releasing a cold draft that wrapped around Emily like a ghost's hand. The fluorescent lights flickered above as she stepped inside. Old desks were stacked along the walls, covered in dust. Rusty lockers and forgotten trophies gathered cobwebs. The damp smell of mold filled the air. Emily sat on a broken wooden bench and waited. At first, all she heard was silence. But then a faint sound drifted through the shadows, soft sobbing. She looked around, heart thumping. The sobs grew louder, overlapping into whispers and cries. It was as if a crowd of children were crying right beside her. Trembling, Emily approached the far wall. Her fingers brushed over the peeling paint and then caught on something rough. She looked closer. Names were scratched deep into the concrete. Maya, 1978. Rafiq, 1982. Amina, 1975. Jamal, 1980. Years had worn some names nearly away, but they were still there. Names of students who had vanished decades ago. Emily sat down on the floor, tracing the names with her finger. The crying swelled around her, voices pleading and urgent. "Help us. Remember us. Don't forget." The coldness in the basement intensified, as if the shadows were closing in. Suddenly, Emily felt a sharp touch on her wrist, icy cold. But when she looked, no one was there. The voices whispered her name. Her breath quickened. She scrambled to her feet and ran toward the basement stairs. As she climbed, the sobbing faded, replaced by a chilling silence. The next day, Emily asked the oldest janitor, Mr. Harris, about the basement and the scratched names. He hesitated, his eyes clouding over. "Those kids, they disappeared long ago. Some said it was punishment for speaking out against the school's harsh rules. The administration swept it under the rug. No one ever investigated." Emily's skin prickled. "That's why the basement is haunted? Because their voices never got heard?" Mr. Harris nodded solemnly. Emily knew what she had to do. She couldn't let their stories die. At the next school assembly, Emily stood before the entire school and staff. She told the story of the missing students, the basement, and the voices she had heard. Some teachers looked uncomfortable, some students whispered nervously, but Emily's voice was steady. Afterward, the school agreed to open an investigation into the disappearances. The basement was cleaned, and a memorial was created to honor the lost students. Weeks later, Emily returned to the basement one last time. The walls no longer bore the deep scratches. The air was lighter, warmer. The cries had stopped. Emily smiled softly, feeling a strange peace. Emily never forgot the basement or the echoes of the past. She learned that silencing the truth only makes it darker, louder, and more dangerous. Because sometimes when voices are forced into silence, they become screams that refuse to be ignored.